Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Natalie and this is Scientology Live After a Cult. In 2 days, Scientology Recap, we're going to be looking at Scientology Celebrity Center recruitment tactics that are being exposed. There's also a shocking story of disconnection that just came out, thanks to Chelsea Handler, who seems to have gotten back to talking about the truth about Scientology. And unfortunately, I have a tie to this story. We're going to talk about it. Smith-Levin, Feral Cheryl, Dusty Soda Dispenser, Sarasota Jerry, so many others were out in Clearwater, and some crazy thing happened when they were there. We're going to talk about it, as well as protesters in Los Angeles showing up to Scientology's New Year's event. And I know what you're thinking, like, Natalie, it's not even New Year's. Here's the deal. Scientology has their event, they record it, then they send it out to all of the masses on New Year's, and each individual organization has their event. Thank you, moderators, for being here, helping out. Thank you for members for being here, and everybody in the live chat. I appreciate you. I am feeling much better today. I've been sick for like 3 days. Well, I guess since Friday. It is getting better. It's still, but it is much better. I'm feeling so much better. I no longer have a fever, and I'm thrilled to death about that. So we have so much to get through today because I've been sick and like not doing this recap. So let's do it, people. Let's start out at Los Angeles. Let's go over to literally Serge and take a look at what was happening when he was protesting outside where Scientology was hosting their upcoming New Year's event.
The scam falls apart the minute the zombies start hearing the truth. When you confront them with the facts, they literally start discombobulating because the technology of L. Ron Hubbard, the convicted felon, was so dysfunctional that it's literally cannot stand a shred of scrutiny. The minute you start scrutinizing the so-called technology, the whole sham falls apart faster than anyone's heads can spin.
So true. So very true. Scientology used a new tactic in that they blocked off whole areas of streets. They used buses, all to try to stop people who showed up to live stream and protest Scientology and tell the world and expose Scientology, thinking that it would shut them down. And guess what? It didn't. It did not. It did not. It didn't work. Fail. Even Laura FM was out there. Let's take a look at a moving conversation she had with somebody. Listen to this.
I was screaming. I was like, Dad, and he had to keep pushing the cart. This is where I saw him. This is literally, and
of course,
look what they did. You know why they have all this up? Because of the protesters. This is why. They never want that to happen. They never wanted a daughter to see her dad.
Laura sharing the story of what happened with her dad. Do you guys remember when she saw her dad, Phil Anderson, last year at this same event, and he just kept walking by as Laura yelled after him, "Dad, I love you." Incredible. Incredible.
And then let the world see it as well. And then him to just keep going. This is what we're all about. David Miscavige is a fraud. Did you see how he was talking tonight? Did you go in? Did you?
Just amazing. I don't think I'll ever forget what happened last year outside that event with Laura, seeing her dad like that. It was incredible, truly. Me and Taz, thank you. I am feeling much better. I am. Jolie, really, week 3 of an upper respiratory. Oh, went into pneumonia. Girl, take care of yourself. Did I see too that Natalie's body Satan has been sick for 2 weeks as well? Oh, 'tis the season, I guess, right? Okay, now let's take a look at, let's go back to literally Serge, because he shares some info too on his experience with recruiting kids in the Sea organization and how Scientology tried to give financial motivation, inspiration to get Sea Org members to recruit kids into the Sea Org.
That they went around recruiting, entitling themselves to. They were recruiting kids in droves. Every week they were obsessed with recruiting more kids. Every week they were graphing it. They were putting on a graph and they were getting incentivized. They were getting rewarded. The more kids they recruited, the more days off they were getting, the more bonuses. They were paying $50 a kid, $100 a kid. They would have every week. Debbie Cook would come up with a new scheme Oh, whoever wants to recruit a child this week, we're going to give you $100. It's going to be your recruitment bonus. We're going to put it in your pay.
So there were recruitment bonuses for Sea Org members and recruiting people into the Sea organization, including children. And Debbie Cook, for those that don't know, was the commanding officer of Flag in Clearwater. And yeah, she has since left Scientology. Many of you might be familiar with her story. Google Debbie Cook Scientology and you will find out all about it. We have so much to get into today. Otherwise, I would just do a little short recap about who she is. But we've got so many things to get into. And speaking of Debbie Cook in Clearwater in Florida, let's head over there because more people were out live streaming and protesting last night in Clearwater in the belly of the beast, one of the largest concentrations of Scientologists there. And check this out. Dusty Soda Dispenser caught something. There seems to be an issue. Call me crazy. Maybe I'm biased. You guys tell me what you think. Does there seem to be an issue with people driving in Scientology, whether they're staff members or just regular public, and things going awry? Look at this. This was Friday night graduation in Clearwater. That is a Scientology van going into a Scientology garage. You would think they've done this before. I'm not quite sure what's happening here.
Nice.
And of course, Dusty Soda Dispenser is right there to cheer them on.
Did you guys see that? Nice. Try again. Go now. Go now. Try again. Go faster.
I mean, I don't understand how they didn't know this wasn't going to fit. And it looks like they make the decision to pull out, or are they going to ram it? The suspense. They sit there for a while, perplexed. They do then pull out and go around. So that was like one odd thing, one of many, you guys, that was happening in Clearwater. Let's take a look now at a clip where we can see Feral Cheryl in her fabulous new Xenu hat, which was made by Marilyn over at Coffee Cult and Crafts. And Marilyn made it and used it to raise money for the SPTV Foundation, which is in place to help people who left Scientology and need help getting back on their feet. Many people who leave, especially members of the Sea organization, do not have an ID, do not have a bank account. They're lacking in so many ways, and the foundation exists to be able to help them. Let's take a peek. It looks like they were having a great time. It is the holidays. Looks like there's some apple cider.
He's good at cover up, you know, you go.
How great does Cheryl look in that hat? It is so fitting.
You got to cover it. Let's just show everyone your Xenu hat, courtesy of Marilyn Honig. Beautiful.
And well, my cape is currently being used as a tablecloth, but it is a tablecloth. But I brought my BT Accounting BGI on taxes.
Nice.
Sign and my little volcano full of body things. So I can start telling these people to come and get their taxes done.
It's just hilarious. A bunch of them were there. A bunch of people were there last night, and people were joining. In fact, there was a young couple that came upon the live streamers and protesters and were like, hey, and they had some pretty amazing stories, you guys. Check this out. I could not believe what I was hearing. Listen to this.
Hey, nice to meet you. Karina. Sorry, my hand's all sweaty.
We actually moved to years ago, and we noticed like Clearwater was like a ghost town.
Yeah.
So I Googled it.
Yeah.
Found Leah's documentary, found you in there.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting? She moves to Clearwater, to the area, and realizes it's a ghost town, and Googles. And what does she find? Aaron Smith-Levin at Growing Up in Scientology. And then she finds out all about it.
Yes.
And I've been watching your lives, and we come out here, and I always miss you when you leave. I'm like, oh, I'm finally
Oh,
here.
I'm glad you guys made it out.
Yeah.
That's
It
awesome.
was accidental. We saw Dusty over there, and he's like, Aaron's here. I'm like, I got.
Oh, Dusty's over there?
He's like,
Yeah, he's right there on that corner.
Oh, geez, Dusty. Come on, say hi. Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
That's funny. We were taking bets in the live chat whether you guys were Scientologists or not.
Oh, no. Oh, okay.
You do a little, yeah.
Oh, why? Because we're dressed up?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yes. Hey, no.
They were not Scientologists, but they had some interesting, it's almost like there's this theme of bad Scientology drivers. You're not going to believe who the bad Scientology driver is, though, that they spill the beans on. Y'all, it's John Travolta. Listen to this story.
And then I look and I see that the driver isn't seeing me. And then the Tesla auto braking kicks in and just like slams on the brake like a few feet from us. And I look dead in the eye. I'm like, that's John Travolta. And she's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yeah, it is. And then I couldn't believe it. But we went back and looked. Yeah, that's his car. He was there. It was like straight up him.
Actually, daylight hours, though.
Daylight hours.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, his official main house is in Ocala, which is what, like 90 minutes north or whatever.
So John Travolta in a Tesla, allegedly not paying attention. And then the Tesla does the auto stop, which it can do. Hey, Feral Cheryl, Julie Markham. And they look, and it's John Travolta. I'm just saying, it's like, what is happening? There seems to be kind of like this trend of some not so great Scientology drivers. I mean, I hate to stereotype. I mean, for a group of people that pride themselves on being present, on being in the moment, on keeping their training routines in with the Xenu eyes. You would think with all those Xenu eyes, they could see more and pay attention to what's happening around them. Not so much the case. Well, John Travolta was not the only person that they had a story about. Listen to this.
That's where her friend saw Tom Cruise
on
his
I have a
bike.
For real?
Yeah, he was driving.
You have an actual photo?
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
kidding me.
No.
I have to see
We used
this.
to live right.
I
He
have
was
to see this.
He was going behind her friend's mom, and it's like a 15-mile-per-hour speed limit there. And he finally got fed up, and he just like started. He passed her, so she has some pictures.
Yeah.
Travolta has a place up in Ocala where he has a full-size commercial jet. He goes right up to his house.
Yeah, I heard.
Someone says Tom Cruise did that to me on Marco Island.
Oh, past
They're just
So Tom Cruise going around on his motorcycle, just getting frustrated and zooming past people, not just in Clearwater, but also on Marco Island. So he seems to have a bit of a reputation on that motorcycle. I don't know. Is that legal? Can they do that? I don't know. I'm just saying, Tom Cruise, it just does not sound very way to happiness is all I'm saying. And then there are actual images of this that are shared of when Tom Cruise was behind them and went to go past them.
Freaking Cruise. All right, here.
and then keep passing them.
Oh, I thought you said he was on a bicycle. He's on an
No,
actual.
he was a
Here, go back to the
motorcycle.
other photo. Go back to the other photo.
On a motorcycle.
And I'm gonna
Is
keep
it
my
right
zoom.
No. This was like
Oh
in
my
the
God!
summer.
I'm gonna.
Oh, okay.
Wow! Look at that!
That is him.
Unbelievable!
He looks like an average 50-year-old.
I have actually never seen Tom Cruise in person.
Oh, you haven't?
Never seen him here in Clearwater. Never. Even when I was in Scientology, I never saw him.
Lots of horn support out there in Clearwater. And the one thing that made me realize in seeing that image, there's no way that Tom Cruise doesn't know that people are outside protesting at Flag. There's like no way. I mean, he's definitely there. This was recently. Mock says he seems to be a wild rider. Absolutely. Woody, I'm glad you're here on your way to bed in Australia. Julie Markham says, I don't think Tom Cruise has much regard for other people. One would think. Where's the helmet? Thank you, Scientology up north. I don't think the laws there require it, but it seems to be a smart thing to do. And also, what happened to set a good example? That is the way to happiness as well. Tom Cruise, senior Scientologist, out riding a motorcycle without a helmet. Now, Scientologists everywhere might start doing that. I'm just saying. Feral Cheryl says, Friday night was awesome. It was, Cheryl. I caught multiple things on your streams. I'm linking everything down below after this video so you guys can go watch the videos and see even more of the craziness that happened, not just in Los Angeles, but in Clearwater as well. Now, the fun doesn't stop there, people. No, Orlando. Moose on the Loose was in Orlando. And I know what you're thinking. Moose on the Loose isn't normally in Orlando. No, but he was. And check this out. He came upon something very, very strange. Watch this.
How you doing? Did y'all just redo the asphalt? Okay, I can smell. I was just wondering.
So this guy's moving
What you doing over here?
these items.
Are you okay? Everything okay?
It was strange and odd enough, and had an odd enough vibe that Moose right off the bat, like, are you okay? Like, what is he's moving boxes of personal items that belong to somebody towards the garbage? Why would Orlando Scientology have boxes and a suitcase that they're moving towards the garbage as if they're going to be thrown out? They look like the personal belongings of somebody. Let's speculate. Jump in that chat and tell me what you think. I don't care how crazy it is. If you were on the replay, jump in the comments and let's talk about it. What is this dude doing? Whose stuff is it? What do you think is happening? Let's watch more of this.
I'm just looking at. I just noticed the Scientology. I was coming to see what's up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair
Yeah.
You work here or you live here?
Yeah. I'm just around here. I'm leaving at the airport tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So I was just checking out the area.
Okay, no problem.
How are you?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well.
Doesn't he sound hesitant? Am I reading too much into this? Does the guy sound a little like, oh yeah, no, I mean, I'm okay. I mean, I'm in a cult, right? Here, and I'm moving somebody's personal belongings towards the garbage. So all things considered, I guess I'm okay. I mean, it gave hostage vibes to me. And again, I don't know, maybe I'm biased, right? I'm a former Scientologist. What do I know? 35 years in that cult. I know a lot. Did somebody blow? Did someone take off? Why are they throwing out their things? Why? What is happening?
There's people. If you need help, there's people.
Okay. Good.
I'm serious.
Yeah, I understand.
And if there's a way to get on the internet or whatever, find out what you need. Do you need help?
No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, there is people out here.
Okay.
Because we get knowledge of what happens with Scientology and COB and even L. Ron Hubbard. What they say is not true. If you gotta.
I can't believe the Scientologist stood there for as long as he did and listened to this, which is fantastic.
See all sides.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
have a good trip for tomorrow.
You too. Thank you. Have a good night.
And he kind of pretty much then seems like he blows him off. But Moose made a really good point, and the guy heard it. He got the information. He listened. I feel like he doesn't know a lot about protesters and people doing this. Bina says somebody blew. Could be, could totally be. Susan, thank you for the reminder. Yahoo on over to that like button and give it a little tap, 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 and subscribe as well. Lisa Pete says an escapee could be. Go ahead and blow, run away. We're going to throw all your stuff away. Mock says looks like someone blew. Yeah. A deceased Sea Org belongings. Yadira. Super sad, super possible. Completely possible. Like, why not donate it even, right? It's clothes. There's a suitcase. It's super fishy, you guys. Rona says stuff belonging to someone who blew. Natasha, some new suppressive person that didn't get their stuff with them. Yeah. Lisa, someone died. Could be. It's highly suspicious. It really is. And there's more. There's more. So let's see. Let's take a look. I got another clip here from Moose on the Loose. Moose on the Loose.
Moving this garbage here. This is what he was doing.
They're hangers. It's still on the hangers.
He was picking up and just like putting this into a collection to be picked up, I guess, because there's a trash right here. But this is what he was doing. And you saw how dressed up I don't know if y'all saw. I don't know how I got it because I got into a mood where I was like, I just want to talk to you as a person.
And notice too, they've got the barrier so that nobody goes and digs through the garbage, I'm guessing. That's why Moose even asked.
Odd.
frustrating, no doubt. But even it's so curious, right? Like, what is happening? What is happening? MD Media, did someone get booted? Exactly. Remember too, this is a class 5 Scientology organization. Orlando is not a Sea Org organization. Doesn't mean there's not Sea Org members there. But it's not like the blue buildings or at Flag or in the berthing where the Sea Org members live, where there's stuff you might be getting rid of it. And honestly, when somebody blew, we recycled their stuff back in my day. Gather around, everybody, for a little back in my day as we go back to the 80s and early 90s in the Sea Org. Back in my day, if you left for a long enough period of time, your stuff got redistributed. It was up for grabs. This is how I lost my wedding dress. Somebody took it while I was like I think I was on like some type of mission or something. And anyways, it's ridiculous. So this is very unusual. This is very unusual to me. It is. But the guy comes back out. The Scientologist, the staff member, comes back out, but this time with some camera tech.
You can put from there outside.
Where's your property line?
Well, you can see there is still Scientology. So then you can see it on the sidewalk over there.
You're young still. Get the hell out of here while you can.
I understand. What an acknowledgement. Scientologists are trained to give acknowledgements. L. Ron Hubbard that says that if you gave enough of a solid acknowledgement, that it would just shut that person up. That's often why you'll see Scientologists going, thank you. I understand. It's like they're trying to give a full acknowledgement so you stop talking and you go away. And it often comes across as being very inappropriate, which is ironic because in Scientology, the whole purpose of the drill is to learn how to give an appropriate acknowledgement, but that's not usually what ends up happening. And you can see him, hear him trying to do this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you see too, when he asked him like,
Thank you. Young still. Get the hell out of here while you can.
I understand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
he looks around a couple times to the parking lot and it is empty. There's a couple of cars off to the left, but to the right, fully empty parking lot. Yet here they are in the dead of night. Now, for all I know, it was 7 p.m. It was dark, but still in the dark, getting rid of somebody's personal possessions, which again, based on back in my day, why would you be throwing it out? Like staff members, that's sometimes how they got clothes. It would be donated. It would be like you could go pick out things that fit you. I don't know. But then if the person is a suppressive person or some undesirable, I could see maybe they would think, oh, those clothes probably have negative body thetans attached to them and we just need to get rid of it because of all the bad mojo. I don't know. But it's weird. It's weird, you guys. It's just weird. Joe Buchanan says, does anyone ever reply as a protester saying, what do you understand, to push them to say more? That is a great follow-up question. What do you understand? Can you tell me what do you understand about why I'm here? That's a great one, Joe. That's a good one. MD Media says, Joe, I like that. Remind me when I'm live. Yep. That would be a good one. And I love too how Moose on the Loose, his approach is very gentle. It's from a place of care. And I think that that's why the guy didn't immediately run off. I don't think so. Robin Miners, aloha. And thank you for the aloha in the chat. I love it when you guys throw in those hearts and flowers and alohas and say hello to everybody and each other. I just love it. I love that community. Okay, so weirdness going on there. So I can't wait to see what else we maybe find out about Orlando. I mean, you never know. You never know. So here's the deal. I want to share something else with you. Some good news. There's some good news here at Scientology Life After a Cult. And no, it's not that, yes, I am growing out my gray hair. It's making me a little crazy. That's not what I'm about to share with you. But I'm trying it. Just so you guys all know, get used to this because it's happening. I'm going to let it grow out, see what happens. See, as long as I can stand it. Doesn't mean I won't cover it up with some spray or powder, but We're seeing it's a whole side topic here we've been talking about on my channel. Now look at this, you guys. Check this out. This is so exciting. Here at Scientology Life After a Cult, thanks to all of you, we have reached a cumulative views of 5 million. Woo! Woo! I should have like party music or something playing. I really should have thought this through a little bit more. We've reached 5 million views. We reached that December 13th. And my channel was started on December 8th, so a little bit over a year. And I think that's very exciting. I look at it like 5 million opportunities to introduce people to the truth that Scientology is a human trafficking cult and that there's life after a cult for me, for others, sharing all of that. And I want to thank all of you so much. Every single one of you who continue to make this happen by watching these videos, liking, sharing, subscribing, all of the things. We are doing this together, and I appreciate all of you, not to mention the moderators who work incredibly hard at this and help us really pull our community together and try to keep things really aloha. I appreciate that just so much. Big thank you to all of you for helping make this happen. It was so exciting when I saw that. I was like, I felt like I got asked to prom. As I would imagine it, I actually never went to prom because I was in a cult. When I should have been going to prom, I was at a dressy party. It was my wedding. The same month or the month after, I can't remember the first time I got married in June or July, in which about like when I would have gone to my high school prom, I was getting married in the Sea organization. Thank you for all your congrats. Keep them coming because I need the dopamine hits today. You know what I'm saying? I really got to bring it. Okay, you guys, now let's go over and take a look at a video that I did on Friday, right before the plague ravished my body. In fact, right before we did this live, I realized I had a fever of like 101, but we had already scheduled, and I didn't think I was going to get my daughter sick because I'm pretty sure she was the one who carried the bug between me and my grandson, Oliver, that little germ carrier. Took Oliver, it was like, he was down for a day and a half. Took me out for 3 days. It just always hits the grandmas harder. But my daughter, Kelsey, made her debut here on YouTube. And she came on and we did a video where the topic was what it was like to grow up in Scientology with ADHD. Obviously undiagnosed ADHD. And I was so proud of her for sharing this. And the conversation we had in the chat was so great with so many of you. I'm going to share a clip of this, but if you have not seen this video I did with my daughter, Kelsey, please go watch it. I really appreciated that she talked about something as difficult as what it was like to grow up in Scientology with ADHD, and also what she found that helps her as an adult after her diagnosis. So let's take a look at a clip. You can find this on my channel.
Where you're quite honestly you're just not able to do it. You get really overwhelmed. And I do remember hiding under the tables and just refusing to do it.
And she's talking about when she was on course in the Twin Cities as a child.
And just being like, all right, like we'll see what's happening. I remember running out of the course room.
Oh,
which was a no.
Do you remember what happened? Did someone come find you, or they just let you go? I didn't know you were gone.
Somebody definitely came and found me. And I now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like at one point I just ran and then I hid in a closet or something, and they got me back in. But it was multiple things. I was always trying to get away because it was overwhelming, and it was like, why is this not making sense to you? And on the flip side, in my schooling, I went to this really amazing Montessori school where, I just think Montessori schools are made for ADHD kids. It's like, how can we,
just so fantastic. Go check it out. I thought she did a great job. It's Kelsey's first time of coming on the channel. You've seen her kind of like hiding in other different videos, but she decided that this is something that she wanted to share. And I'm really proud of her. And I think it's a conversation we need to continue to have, because remember, there are people too who watch my channel who might be under the radar Scientologists, right? They want to leave, but they feel like they can't due to family ties or business ties, or even people who may have left Scientology but are still hesitant to explore the field of mental health and mental health therapy involving things like ADHD. The whole topic of being neurodiverse is not something that is discussed or acknowledged in Scientology. And it's so much of why so many people are honestly tortured in so many ways mentally when it's not necessary, because valid help is available. Hope is available. It's just outside of Scientology. How many people in Scientology are actually neurodiverse and don't understand there's nothing wrong with them? Their brain works differently. They just need different tools. And guess what? They're not going to get them in Scientology, because the only tools you can have are the tools that L. Ron Hubbard lays out. That's all that you can have. So again, I think it's a topic I want to keep talking about. I think she'll come on again and share about it, because there's so many people, even outside of former Scientologists. How many in our community here? Many of you shared your own stories during that live stream too, and your thoughts on this. And I think if we really want to serve multiple communities, it involves also talking about neurodiversity, especially as it relates to, in my genre and what I talk about here in being in a cult. So thank you for Kelsey for coming on and doing that. Pause for Andrea. Congrats on the 5 million views. Unlike Scientology, those are some real statistics. Very impressive. So impressive. So happy for you, Natalie. Thank you, Pause for Andrea. And thank you, all of you for really helping to make this happen. Nisa says, when it comes to disability, Scientology lacks any kind of competition. My hat's off to Kelsey for having a successful career. Yeah. Absolutely. She's a project manager, and she's an amazing project manager. The Virgin Monkey. I definitely need to watch that. I've been wondering about neurodivergence in cults. I have more theories about it as well that I want to get into on other videos. So please, if you are someone especially too who may have been in Scientology or a cult who's neurodivergent, I would love to chat with you to help understand, maybe even do a video if you're comfortable with that. Reach out to me, Natalie@lifeafteraccult.com. Mock says, I love how being neurodivergent can actually make the indoctrination attempts ineffective. Yes, that is also part of it. Truly. Erica, congratulations. I've been watching since the beginning, but always on the replay. You're awesome. Thank you, Erica. And thank you for always jumping in on the replay. I appreciate that. Now let's go over and look at a clip from Jenna Miscavige. Jenna Miscavige sat down with her ex-husband, Dallas, and blew the lid off of what it's like at Scientology Celebrity Center and how they try to recruit, especially young people, for the Sea Org. So let's take a look at a clip from that. This video is fantastic.
This is the one where he sounds like he's starting to go crazy.
So he's talking about a film that he was told, I think it was a film, or it was something he listened to or saw as part of his recruitment. Like they thought, we want to recruit you into the Sea Org. This will be a great thing to show you. I don't know why they thought this.
Like,
that's funny, because when I would hear it, I'd be like, oh, hell yeah. I was
really?
like, oh yeah, we're going to get the wall of fire before those bad guys get to us.
I was like, this guy's lost his mind, and he sounds like he's sick or like just going crazy.
Yeah, but I was more brainwashed.
Yeah. So, and it's this video, and it's just this overlay of pictures of him, of L. Ron Hubbard, all those pictures that you see of him on the ocean pointing to things, and in his captain's hat.
Being like really like...
Yeah, with his ascot.
That's right, L. Ron Hubbard and that dang ascot.
Looking like really important and sophisticated and knowing.
So you're like
Jenna nails it right here. Nails it. Absolutely nails the L. Ron Hubbard stare and look and his need to feel and look important. She just nailed it. Atkins in Texas. I love these two. Yeah, they've done a great job on this is, I think, the second video that they've done. And there's more to it, you guys. There's more to it because Dallas was recruited. They were trying to recruit him for Celebrity Center. Dallas was there because he had a desire to be a performer. And the tactics they used might surprise you.
Center International, Dave Pettit, comes into the room and he starts trying to hard sell me into joining the Sea Org and telling me that it's the most important thing I could be doing with my life, and that acting and dancing doesn't matter, and my family doesn't matter. It's all about joining the Sea Org and forwarding Scientology's purpose.
Think about that for a minute. Think about that. Sea Org recruiter, right? Dave Pettit specifically, trying to recruit him for the Sea Org. He was at Celebrity Center. I don't know if he's still there or not. The tactic is your family suck, your goals suck. None of that is important. What's important is Scientology. Take my money and sign me up. I mean, but that didn't work. So they tried another tactic. Let's see. Is it in this clip? Let's listen.
I was very stubborn.
Oh, this is where Dave Pettit loses it on him. And at the time when this happened, Dallas was 18.
In person, and I was like, no, thanks for coming, but I'm not signing this. And then he flipped out and he started railing into me, just full on screaming. I had people walking by looking in like, what the heck's happening in there?
Goodness.
And he's just yelling at me. And I was 18-year-old and he's, I don't know, 40-year-old guy with a lisp that's just yelling at the top of his lungs and very animated. And when someone yells at me, I get even more stubborn. That's not the way to handle me. Center International.
Yeah. Who does this work with? And this is a tactic. If you can't communicate, overwhelm. That seems to be what's done so often, especially in the Sea organization. If you cannot inspire people to get behind you on a project, scream at them, yell at them, threaten them. If you can't convince them to join the Sea Org because it's the greatest good, it is the best for mankind, scream at them, yell at them. Do you see the tactic? That is a tactic that continues to be used in Scientology. I don't know why they do it, but they did a little good cop, bad cop with Dallas. Listen to this.
So then from that point on, this girl, Melanie Von Gutten, kind of took the other approach and was like, how can I recruit you, but trying to find out more about me and what I liked and this and that. And eventually I ended up signing a month or so after that, or a few weeks. I don't remember how the time lapsed, but
they hammered and hammered and hammered with his good cop, bad cop kind of routine and wore him down. It took a month and he joined the Sea organization. This is very common. They don't give up once they get their sights on you, especially if you're a young person, because you're more moldable, especially if you were the child of Scientologists, a second or a third generation, because they believe you are more moldable. You think they would have learned their lesson with Jenna Miscavige. That didn't exactly work out. And she was the niece of Scientology leader, is the niece of Scientology leader David Miscavige. So why do they think that would work with anyone else? You know what I'm saying? If you can't stay for my family runs this cult, then what hope do they have getting anybody else in? Amber Vanessa says, Dave Pettit, it was a joke. So was he a joke? I don't remember. I think I saw him a couple times, Amber, but I don't think I ever really met him or got to know him. Does it matter to you? Not to me. I was taught to aggressively get compliance as an executive. Very true. In Scientology executives and staff are trained to be that way, to impinge. We need to impinge on you. That's how they justify the threatening behavior, the overwhelming. Think about it. Even when you leave and you want to leave Scientology, if they can't get you to the point where they're pretty sure you're going to keep your mouth shut in a way that through security checking, they pour on the coals. The security checking gets more intense. You are more interrogated. You are yelled at, screamed at, locked in rooms, all to overwhelm you and get you into a point of being like, I can't take it anymore. Fine. That's what Scientology does. As a cult, they wear you down. They wear you down. They are worse than like a stage 5 clinger that you meet at last call at a bar. They do not leave you alone as long as you let them, until the point that you go, you know what? I'm done. I'm out. You have no power here. You have no control over me. So you can sit in the corner, scream and yell like a little baby. I'm not doing it. They don't know what to do with that. They really don't. Eventually, they just leave you alone. That's kind of what happened with me. They sent people to handle me. And I even showed up for the meeting because I was like, oh, let's let this play out. Let's see what happens. I will get closure by being able to stand there and go, yeah, no, I'm not taking your deal. I'm not coming back to leave properly in your eyes because I know what that means. Reprogramming, re-indoctrination into the cult. I no longer live by your rules. That is very hard for Scientology as a whole to accept when we leave and we no longer live by your rules. We don't live by the rules of disconnection. I will speak to who I want, when I want. And I will also not speak to someone if I don't want to speak to them. I get to decide, not Scientology. Now, let's jump on over to Celebrity Center. Speaking of Celebrity Center here, because you guys, you know, we got a little Scientology press release here. They had their Christmas stories. That was, what was that? Was that last week even? Laura FM was out there protesting and they were doing the fog and the smoke machines and they put manure all around Celebrity Center. Meanwhile, on the inside, Jenna Elfman, actress, was hosting this event. And there's something interesting about this, you guys. Let's take a look at this. This is Scientology's press release that just came out. Jenna Elfman hosts Christmas stories to benefit underserved children. Scientology Celebrity Center stages its annual fundraiser, now in its 31st year, to help the Hollywood Police Department youth programs. Okay, so listen to this. The Christmas story stage. Wait, which year is this? Do I got the right year? This is 2023. This is really important to make the difference here. We're gonna, let's see here. Did I pull up? Okay. In 2023, the Christmas stories, blah, blah, blah. The annual benefit has raised more than $500,000 in these communities. So this has been going on, right, for 31 years. And as of a year ago, they raised $500,000 is what they're saying. Now, this year in 2024, here's the deal. This year in 2024, they raised, in their press release for 24, it says $520,000 so far. So it sounds like Scientology this year raised about $20,000 for the LAPD, right? And these programs they say that they're funding. So if they raised up to $500,000 in 31 years last year, and now it's $520,000, if you do the math, it averages out to be just under $17,000 a year that Scientology has raised over 32 years for the Hollywood Police Department and these programs they claim the money is for. Under $17,000 a year is what it averages out to. And they put all this work in having celebrities like Jenna Elfman, Marisol Nichols was there, Michelle Stafford, who's been in soap operas. They have to learn lines. They do like this whole, they tell these Christmas stories. It's a lot of work. And they basically are raising $17,000 a year. And I'm like, okay, $17,000 is $17,000, right? It's still nothing to sneeze at. But for the cult of Scientology, it is. It is. Do you know what Scientology knows how to do more than anything? Raise money. Fundraise. It's what they excel in. How are they only raising an average of under $17,000 for this with this one event? They make it sound like it's a lot more by saying, we've raised over $520,000. Yeah, over 31 years. That averages out to something different. You guys tracking with me? Moose on the loose is here. Hey, Moose, we just shared your clips there. So I thought that was really interesting. The other thing I thought was interesting, because keep in mind, multiple Scientology celebrities, all of Celebrity Center, all the cleaning, the setup, the stage, the practices, the rehearsals, everything, getting the VIPs there for just under $17,000. Look at this. The jacket that Olivia Newton-John wore in Greece, you know how much that sold for to raise money? $476,000. The sale of a jacket raised $476,000. Take Scientology, a group who eats, breathes, sleeps fundraising. It's embarrassing. Why not pony up, Scientology? We know if you really wanted to raise money for an organization, you could. If Olivia Newton-John's people can sell a jacket for over 400 grand, I'm finding it hard to believe that at these Christmas events you're doing each year, you're only raising up to 17. Maybe I'm just being judgmental. Yes, I am. Mock says their celebrities are getting less celebrity. That's very true. Nisa says, I don't think Scientology wants to help anybody but themselves. And I think they want to give police officers money so they can get away with breaking the law. Yes, exactly. It is a PR thing. It's a public relations event. It's to create goodwill. It's very little actually about the money in that situation. And I'm just calling shenanigans on, you could raise more than that, Scientology. Give me a break. 17,000 at a fundraiser that has that much work. You're not ponying up because you're taking all that money for yourselves. Let's be real. Aloha. Okay, now let's look at this. This made me so happy. You guys know we were talking about what happened at the Hollywood Christmas parade when Scientology's float went and then landed on the ground and was dragged through the streets of Hollywood like yesterday's trash. It was deflated. It was so embarrassing, right? We all saw the clips. We watched it happen in real time. We cheered as it happened. Well, guess what? We're not the only ones cheering about it and talking about it. MSN did an article. Multiple articles are out right now talking about it. I don't know why it's only just coming out now. This was 3 days ago. Scientology God Xenu takes day off as false churches parade float eats pavement. Float eats pavement. This is MSN. 75 million years ago, the cult of Scientology teaches a galactic overlord named Xenu, dictator to an untold number of planets, flew his people to Earth on board spaceships that look exactly like DC-8 jets. No word on how the great galactic overlord precisely predicted that the first jet airliner from the Douglas Aircraft Company would look like, or did they copy it from him? But no matter. Apparently, in an ensuing kerfuffle, Xenu was imprisoned by the beings, but in doing so, evil spirits named Thetans were released and now occupy our bodies, or something I can't really do the whole piffle by explaining it in abdumbrated form. This person is just like really like these bigger words here. And in fairness, L. Ron Hubbard wasn't much better at explaining it either. So this whole thing comes about because the float deflated and they dragged it through the streets of Hollywood, and it was humiliating and it was embarrassing. Well, what I love is as part of it, they're not just saying, oh yeah, Scientology had a float and it deflated and it was embarrassing. They're saying Scientology had a float. It deflated. It was embarrassing. And guess what, everybody? Listen to this. They believe in Xenu and they tell the whole story of the galactic overlord. This is a nightmare. In fact, Office of Special Affairs, I hope you saw this article and you're counting it on your statistics. David Miscavige, wake up your people. Is it Monday? It's Monday. So we can really be aggressive. So Office of Special Affairs, rise and shine, my lovelies. Want to make sure you did not miss this one because I know you have to track negative press about Scientology as well as positive press about Scientology. And if this isn't negative, I don't know what is. It's like here on MSN and other outlets, they're all talking about this. I think it's fabulous. All because this balloon deflated and fell to the ground. It's the best. It is a Christmas gift that keeps on giving. Joe says, I think Osa is awake now. I like to make sure, they're overworked. They're not getting enough sleep. The rice and beans gets old with the punishment, which is why I also always encourage them. You can always leave, hit your girl up. God knows you know where I am. I would absolutely help you in a heartbeat. Honestly, I'll throw shade at you, but if push comes to shove, I got you. So let's see. After that phenomenal news, let's see. Have you guys thought about, Aaron at Growing Up in Scientology was talking about this. You guys realize there is no spokesperson for Scientology? Like there just is not. Let's look at this short from Aaron and we're going to look into this a little bit.
The weirdest things about Scientology is they do not have a spokesperson anymore. Anybody notice that? You have never seen anyone from the Church of Scientology sit down with a journalist and do even a print interview, much less a pre-recorded video interview, much less something live. I think the last time Scientology had a spokesperson willing to appear on camera was Tommy Davis, the Tom Cruise lookalike, who, God, was it 2004, 2005, 2006 was around the last time we would have seen Tommy. Tommy had to escape from Scientology several times. He has left the C organization. He is now out of Scientology, but when the media contacts him, he pretends like he's still in, but he's not. He's out. He's
interesting. So Scientology has no spokesperson. And we see this back in the day. We watched a video the other day. When was it? Friday, you guys? I don't even remember. That I highlighted where Aaron did a reaction video to the Phil Donahue interview with Heber Jens. And it was fantastic. And you got to give props to Heber. I feel like he really had a way with the media and at least kind of made an effort. And you don't see Scientology doing interviews or anything like that anymore. Why? Well, Heber Jens, last we heard, is locked up. He had been in the hole previously, just like Mike Rinder, who is a spokesperson for Scientology, who's now out, has turned whistleblower. Tommy Davis, spokesperson for Scientology, personally called me a liar. After I came out and my daughter Shelby and I did a story with the Tampa Bay Times about how there's such an issue in the C organization with coercing females and their husbands into ending pregnancies that they don't want to end. And Scientology's response via Tommy Davis was, that never happened. Oh, it didn't? Oh, what was I thinking? Oh, you know what? Tommy Davis, Scientology. Oh, I made it up. Yeah. Because I want to go publicly talk about something that was so hard and devastating at the time that's what I'm going to pick. Yeah. Telling you. T. Miha says RPF and all his belongings are in the trash. Could be. Julie Markham, I was really surprised to hear that Heber was a Mormon. Yes, I remember that. It's on my list of stories I want to dig into further and look at and do. God, I have so much culty stuff about Scientology, yet so many other cults that I want to talk about still too. Now, let's go talk about Chelsea Handler and this story that came out, this heartbreaking story of disconnection that I actually have a personal tie to. And it broke my heart to see this and hear it. I couldn't actually believe what I was hearing, that it involved these people and someone that I not just knew, but was one of my closest friends until I left Scientology. I just couldn't believe it. This is on Chelsea Handler. There is someone wrote in a letter and they actually have her on. And this is interesting because not just what was it, a week or so ago, we shared Chelsea Handler talking to Riley Keough about how, it's so great to hear a success story out of Scientology. Have you lost your mind, Chelsea Handler? You know about Scientology. I thought you were BFFs with Leah Remini. You had all of this stuff. But, maybe it's just right. It's for the interview and she's trying not to make her guest uncomfortable. I don't know. I was very happy to see this segment come out with this story, even though I am not happy about this story at all. Just Dana, I'm feeling better. You look perky. I am more perky. I am not fully back to my perkiness, but I'm getting there. Whatever this cold or flu or whatever it is, just kick my butt. So listen to this, you guys.
She'll be joining us here in a moment. She says, Dear Chelsea, last year, just a couple days before my 30th birthday, I got the call I had been expecting for some time from my mother, who informed me she was, quote unquote, parting ways with me. My parents both work for the Church of Scientology, as well as my siblings.
Did you see the eye roll? Did you see Chelsea's eye roll? I don't even know where to start with this. Both her parents work for Scientology in Seattle, which she says it is not rocket science to figure out who this is. It's going to be so obvious. Scientology already knows. And it doesn't seem like even Mariah herself, she used her real name, and the description she gave of her parents and what was happening. There's no question that her mom is one of my former friends. And I can't believe that she did this. I'm actually shocked that she disconnected from her daughter. Let's listen more.
An episode in Leah Remini's TV show about the Seattle Church of Scientology, which covers a document my father wrote about how to get money from parishioners. I really can't emphasize enough how deeply involved my family is. My parents felt the need to disown me after I left Scientology, but that's because it's one of the church rules. My mom had been holding out on disconnecting from me for a while, but I could see her growing more distant over the last year, so I did know it was coming. As I reached out to try and keep a connection alive with her, she eventually stopped responding. But then at the end of October, she finally called and told me.
She disconnects from her daughter. I've known this woman, the mom. In fact, I've known the mom before Mariah was born because I lived in Seattle. If you guys remember when I was in the Sea organization, those of you who have been here from the beginning and might be familiar with my story, and I refused to end my pregnancy, my husband and I at the time, for punishment, I was sent to Seattle. Because back then, that's what they did if you were a Sea Org member and you refused to give in to the pressure. So we were sent to Seattle where we had to work for Scientology full time on different shifts. And my husband at the time got another job to support us because you're not making enough money as staff members there in Seattle. And I got to know Mariah's mother, Tammy, very well. And she's not somebody that would have been at the top of my list that would disconnect from her child, which tells me she had to have been not physically beat into submission, mentally and emotionally beat into submission to disconnect from her daughter, which I think you can also tell because it took her over a year to do it and finally pull that trigger and disconnect from her daughter, her child. I know her mom. This is not something that she's sitting with that feels good. She loves her daughter, but she's also so brainwashed that she thinks this is the right thing to do, that by cutting ties and disconnecting from her daughter, that it opens the door up a little bit that Mariah's going to come back to Scientology. Mariah is not going to come back to Scientology. This girl has stepped outside of that cult bubble. She got herself an education. She's got a big girl job. She's got a place to live. And not only that, she has a guest bedroom that she maintains in case her family or even her friends who are still in Scientology want to leave, that she can help them. I mean, it's truly amazing. Now listen to, so the whole letter gets read about Mariah, and then Mariah herself is actually there and speaks to them.
Yeah, that just to give you some context of why my dad's not, I'm like not interested in being in my life, you know what I mean? So sure. Yeah. And then there's like my siblings and my dad. Like my dad is almost.
Now that woman there she wrote a book. She also left a cult. That's not Mariah. Mariah is the person speaking on the phone.
Sort of the less type of person to compare it to your situation. Yeah. And so he's a narcissist. He is really good at getting people to give money to Scientology, done to lots of people what Les did to you.
Her father, she's not joking when she says this. In fact, I'm going to show you guys something. Her father in Seattle is Mark Arnold. This is no secret. Anybody can figure, not anybody, but I live there, so I guess it's pretty obvious to me. Scientology already knows about this and knows exactly who her parents are. Her father, Mark Arnold, was a registrar in Seattle, still is, since, oh my gosh, from back when I was there. And he has been a Scientology staff member for decades. His wife, Tammy, Mariah's mother, works full-time to support them because you don't make any money on staff. Not something you can live on. And this has been going on also for decades. Tammy herself was a staff member on and off at multiple different times. I actually don't think she is now, but I can't say that with 100% certainty. But I do think she's focused on working her job outside of staff to support them. So she is the one who makes all the income so he can stay on staff. Rika, amen. I love you. Tammy, you're still in a cult, Tammy. Rika, you're the best. If you know on that joke, you guys. So her mom, like, I would go back to Seattle when I was still living here in the Twin Cities to go see very close friends of mine. She was one of them. We would go out. We would have a great time for the weekend. And then I would come back and we were in touch up until I left Scientology. I don't think she formally disconnected from me, just did the same thing, just stopped responding. But, you know, I know the drill. I knew what she was doing. So Mariah's dad, Mark, wrote this like manual / manifesto on how to get money out of people. And I have a copy of it here. In fact, I will link it down below in case any of you are curious enough to read through the whole thing. Where is it here? Hold on. Oh, there it is. This is obviously a leaked Scientology document. Seattle Ideal Org Building Fundraising Hat Write-Up by Mark Arnold, Executive Director of the Seattle Day Organization. And I know he was the Seattle Executive Director on and off. I don't know if he still is, but this is the money guy. This guy has been getting money from Scientologists for over 30 years. And then he wrote this manual / manifesto write up on how you do it, from the organization of it, the different people that you need in place. It's all lined up here. It's an interesting document. I'm not going to go through all of it right now because it's super long. I am going to link it down below though, in case any of you want to deep dive. I want to go through it myself and maybe even do a reaction video, but you know me, I got a million things I want to do. So if someone else wants to do that, jump on it, because I think it would be a really good video to go through that and really break down what it means in, you know, outside of Scientology. So let's see. Let's go back now to the Chelsea Handler clip.
In terms of like money management and stuff like that. So my mom sees their relationship as, you know, the greater good. She's helping the world be better by supporting him. So she's like the breadwinner. She's kind of been supporting my dad my whole life while he works for the Church of Scientology and she works part-time for the Church of Scientology. So yeah, that just to give you some context of why my dad's I'm like not interested in him being in my life, you know what I mean? So yeah. And then there's like,
you know, and her dad, I knew him back in the day. In fact, I spent my 21st birthday with Mariah's parents, which I think was before she was even born. I'm 54. So yeah, 21 when I was 21, and I'm pretty sure Mariah's maybe 30 or early 30s. So I think it was before Tammy was even pregnant, because I was in Seattle when I was 21 and they took me out. We went to a karaoke bar. I can see it like it was yesterday. I just turned 21. So of course we were drinking and we went to this karaoke bar. We showed up. Mark Arnold was there, Tammy, me, other people. And we got up and we sang that. And it was one of those places where people go to like seriously sing karaoke. Like these are people who can sing. This isn't some trash bar where you're just showing up acting a fool, which is really more my jam, the second part. But we showed up acting a fool, all drunk. And we got up there and sang as a group, Deo, Deo. You know that song? I don't know why. I don't remember why. It was a crazy night though. I remember being in the car because we were kind of bar hopping. I was along for the ride, right? I think I was driving then. I had my driver's license, but they were taking me out for my 21st birthday. I remember being in traffic at one point and people came up in a car I didn't even recognize and were like, "Happy birthday, Natalie." They were at one of the bars we went to. I mean, we partied. It was fun. It was so fun. I got so sick and hungover. It was definitely too much. But just to share, it's like I spent a lot of time with these people, and it's heartbreaking to me that this is the outcome, that you're disconnected from your daughter. That has to be devastating. I can't speak for her dad, but I know for her mom to do that with her own child. She is brainwashed into believing that this will help her daughter, that there's a chance she'll come back if she's properly labeled. And it's not true. It's absolutely not true. And it's so heartbreaking that this is happening. And I'm glad that it's out in the open. And I hope that Mariah comes forward and wants to share more of her story because she is not alone in this. And I know that she would have so much support within and around our community. That is just not, I just can't wrap my head around it. It really is. I've been thinking about it since I found out about it, how Tammy could do that. And it could almost make me cry. I think just simply, it really shows you how strong the mind control is. This is not a mother who didn't love her child. I remember when she was born, growing up, her mom loved her. This was a love child. So it's so heartbreaking how strong the mind control is. And that's what's happening in this situation. It's completely what's happening. I have one more clip. I think this is where Chelsea gives a little bit of her feedback.
And also, you know, to be able to remind yourself that, like, this isn't really who your mother is. You know, it's almost like dealing with an addict where you have to remember that they're on a drug and that this isn't a reflection of how she really feels about you. You know that she was upset during that phone call. You know that she was being monitored during that phone call. We all know all of these things that cults do to their cult members. But to remember that, like, it's so sad what you've experienced and what you're still going through. And I totally, I can feel you, you know? Yeah. And also, you know, to be able to remind yourself that, like,
I don't think Chelsea fully understands how heavy that mind control is, but she is making a good point. This is being done under duress. Given her own choice, Mariah's mother would not be making this choice. That's why it took so long. She just wouldn't. She wouldn't be making that choice. It's total coercion and brainwashing. So she believes that this is the way, this is how things need to be. And what are Tammy's choices? Maintain with her daughter so then she gets a divorce because her husband sure as hell's not going to put up with it. He is a hardcore staff member. He wrote the manifesto on how to get money out of Scientologists for fundraising, not even for Scientology services. These are some of the very hardcore people in Scientology. And this is what ends up happening. And it is super sad. I'm going to link all of this below. There is so much for you guys to dive into today. So much happening. Remember, when you see something, say something. If it's a, you know, whether it's a live streamer, protester, somebody does a video, news somewhere about Scientology being culty, email me, Natalie@lifeafteroccult.com to give me a timestamp. Tell me what I'm looking at. And let's talk about it and continue to expose Scientology. Because God knows there's just so much. Rika, exactly. So devastating. And that is in Seattle. That's in Seattle. It's just crazy. All right. Hate to end on such a bummer note, but that's where we're at. Hit like, hit subscribe. I will see you guys later. I hope you guys all get out and truly and honestly have an amazing cult-free day.